6 homes, that's the total amount of active inventory in Montreux right now. 6. And it's arguably one of the most sought after and one of the most expensive luxury communities in all of northern Nevada. Now, I know what you're thinking. Only 6 homes? That must mean that the market is soft and sellers are motivated. Seems like a great time to roll in with a lowball offer, a firm handshake, and a lot of confidence. But that would be spectacularly wrong. 6 homes in Montreux is not a distressed market. 6 homes in Montreux is just a Tuesday afternoon. And what that number actually tells you about this community means a lot more than what I'm going to say over the next 12 minutes, which is exactly why I'm going to spend 12 minutes articulating what this really means. I'm Chris Rayner, a broker in Nevada and California, an escapee from California since 2015, and I'm going to give you my honest feedback on Montreux. We're going to cover commute times, what's nearby, what homes actually cost, what clients actually spend, and why I genuinely love this neighborhood. And just because I respect your time, the stuff that might make it the wrong fit for you. So stay to the end because there's a few things that buyers actually get wrong about this community, and it'll cost you dearly. It's either the house, the money spent, or the things that you purchased that you didn't need to. Montrose sits in South Reno, right at the edge of town where it stops acting like a city and the Sierra Nevadas take over. The location math is genuinely good, but I'm going to give you the real numbers and not what it's like to rope a unicorn. Those unicorn numbers? Well, that's what you're going to find on the real estate websites. They're times that assume no traffic, no weather, no school zone slowdowns, no guy in a pickup who's absolutely not in a hurry to go anywhere that morning. Nobody drives the unicorn timelines, and you deserve the real numbers. The Reno Tahoe International Airport is about 15 to 20 minutes on a regular basis. But if there's an event downtown or if it's Tuesday morning when everybody decided to leave at the same time, then you need to budget about 25 minutes, which in our opinion is still a relatively short timeline to travel from your house to the airport in a luxury community. And for context, I have clients coming in from the Bay Area where the airport commute was about a 45-minute commitment, and the parking garage fees, well, that required a second mortgage. So to add to this, downtown will take you about 20 to 25 minutes to get there. Dining in South Reno, that's going to take you about 8 to 10 minutes to get to that restaurant. Lake Tahoe can be about 25 to 30 minutes, weather permitting. And with downtown being only about 20 to 25 minutes, I also want to note that downtown Reno's not what it was a decade ago. There's actually good restaurants, actual things happening, an art scene that most people haven't visited recently are going to be pleasantly surprised by. But Montreux residents are not going downtown for groceries. They don't need to. With Lake Tahoe being about 25 to 35 minutes, this is the point where I say we're going to add in a little weather caveat. It is 25 minutes when the weather cooperates. For the times when the mountain's not cooperating, and even other times when it's absolutely not cooperating, you're going to be looking at more time and a set of snow tires. The good news is you're already living at about 6,000 feet in elevation. So by the time you've been in Montreux for one winter, you will have learned to check the conditions before you leave. The bad news is, sometimes those lessons are learned the hard way. But what makes this location exceptional isn't just the proximity. That's because South Reno has become a full-service corridor. Everything you're going to need is within about 10 minutes of the front gate. And I mean everything. Groceries, medical, dining, fitness, Target, Home Depot, Whole Foods, and even natural grocers. You don't have to go anywhere inconvenient to live a completely normal life here. Which, coming in from parts of California where a hardware store was absolutely a 40-minute round trip, is something people appreciate more than they actually expected. But a quick pause, because if you're considering Montreux or comparing Montreux to other South Reno communities, the fastest way to drive through all those details to see if it's a good fit is to simply book a Zoom call. We'll map out the entire picture in one conversation. It's very simple. It takes 60 seconds, one form, and we'll be on a call. Now, let's get back to the video. So let's talk about amenities, shopping, and you don't want to miss it list. And we're going to split this into two categories because there is what's inside of the gates at Montreux and what's just outside the gate, because both matter and they do serve different purposes. Because inside the gate you have Montreux Golf and the country club that is all the centerpiece. This is a Jack Nicklaus golf course with a private clubhouse. You have fine dining, a bar, a lounge, and an outdoor patio. It also has a resort-style pool, full fitness facility, and tennis courts. There's regular social events, wine dinners, member tournaments, holiday gatherings, and charity functions. The kind of events where you go in intending to stay for one drink and leave 2 hours later making 2 new friends and a business contact. And the vibe here, well, I want to be very clear. It is not stuffy. And it's not the kind of country club that has a dress code that makes you feel like you've wandered into a different decade. It's more executives in quarter zips, physicians who just came off the morning hike, former Californians who discovered golf 6 months ago and are now deeply, unsufferably committed to their handicap. It's a good room, a real room, and for a lot of residents, it's become genuinely central to their social life in a way they did not expect. I know the next question on your mind is, what does it take to join the golf? Well, the golf membership has a $50,000 buy-in and it's $975 a month thereafter. You can also get executive membership, which is for those that are 45 years old and younger, come with reduced fees. It has the club, dining, pool, fitness, tennis, and a full event calendar. Outside the gates and within 10 minutes, you have essentially everything else. Whole Foods is the anchor, and here is something that nobody puts in the listing description. The Whole Foods on South Virginia is Montrose' unofficial neighborhood meeting. And I'm only partially joking. You will run into your neighbors there. Someone will recommend a contractor, someone else will mention that they're listing in spring, and there will be a completely serious business conversation happening right next to the Olive Bar. This is just how South Reno operates. Learn to lean into it. Costco is closed. Target is closed. The Summit Reno, which is South Reno's version of a lifestyle retail corridor, it has higher-end dining, boutique shopping, fitness studios, and wine spots. There's natural grocers if you need options, but Trader Joe's is also nearby. Every medical specialty you could realistically need, a pediatric dentist, a cardiologist, and a place to get your car detailed within about the same radius. But here's what Montreux intentionally does not have inside the gates: convenience stores, strip malls, traffic, and the community stays quiet by design. The external corridor handles the logistics, and the residents, they love it by design. The outdoor amenities that I mentioned earlier, well, they deserve their own line. You have the Galena Creek Regional Park just minutes away. Also right there is the Thomas Creek Hiking Trail, which is legitimately good. It's not just a flat loop. We also have Montrose Ski in Tahoe, which just invested $6 million into the 25 and 26 season, including now the largest snow tubing center in the entire West Coast, which apparently is a real thing that exists now, and it's exactly as chaotic and fun as it sounds. You can golf in the morning, hike by noon, ski in the afternoon, and be at the clubhouse for dinner at night. Residents actually do this, and it's an obnoxious amount of life all in one day, and they are not apologizing for it. But let's talk about the actual homes and what we see that our clients actually spend. But before we get into the numbers, let me tell you what you're actually buying into, because that matters a lot more than the price tiers. Montreux is 726 acres. And inside that 726 acres, there's approximately 540 home sites. That's it. That is the entire community. For context, on a master planned community in Henderson, they would put about 2,000 homes on a 400-acre site. Simply put, 540 homes on 726 acres. The math tells you something important about what was actually prioritized when this place was built: space, privacy, and the land itself. And the land inside Montreux is not uniformed, which is one of the things that makes it genuinely interesting to buyers. You have high desert terrain on one end, rolling meadows in the middle, and a deep forest lots on the upper elevations. Same gate, same community, and three very different lifestyles all in one location. So when I say Montreux, I'm not describing one thing. I'm describing a range of experiences depending on where you exactly land within that 726 acres. And the home sites themselves reflect this variety. There is no dominant architectural structure in this area. We have mountain modern next to old world timber frames next to traditional luxury next to the lodge style home that all looks like it was designed for someone who spent serious time in Vail and liked what they saw. The consistency in Montreux is not the style, it's the quality. Every home in this community was built with the attention to the kind of details that you would notice over years of living in a place, not just in move-in day. The way I like to describe it to clients is Montreux has a resort-style feeling in your house. It's the kind of place that feels alive and is absolutely beautiful year-round. This is all without the revolving door of strangers that an actual resort would bring. It's a real neighborhood, a permanent one, and the homes are built like permanent homes, not vacation properties. Okay, down to the numbers. Let's talk about real numbers, because vague answers about price ranges are not useful and I don't like giving them. Montreux has three rough tiers and they all behave independently. Entry level into Montreux is going to be about $1.5 million to $2 million. And I want to pause here because when I say entry level, there is a lot happening and a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence. We're talking about $1.5 million, which is the floor to enter this neighborhood. And that context matters. At this tier, you're typically looking at older custom homes, slightly smaller footprints, or properties that need some updating. These are homes where the bones and the address are excellent and the finishes are from an era when restoration hardware was not yet the default. The mid-tier in Montreux is about $2 to $4 million, and this is where the bulk of the competition sits. At this tier, you'll get turnkey mountain modern finishes, more recent construction, and full renovations. Probably has golf frontage and mature trees. Within the full feature list, you will find wine cellars, indoor-outdoor living, heated driveways, gym, and the works. So the terrain here is high desert to meadows to deep forest. The entry level is $1.5 million to $2 million. The mid-tier is $2 million to $4 million, and the estates that are inside of Montreux are going to typically run you between $5 million to $10 million. Homes here will typically run between 3,500 square feet upwards to 8,000 square feet. For the estate properties that are running between $5 to $10 million and up, you will have golf frontage, new custom construction, and these are the kind of homes where the listing photos require a small disclaimer that yes, this is the actual view and no, it has not been enhanced. Now, what do our clients actually spend? Our typical Montreux buyers tend to land between $2 to $3.5 million. And that's the sweet spot where you get a genuinely exceptional home on a meaningful lot with the finishes that make Montreux feel like Montreux. And you're not competing with the ultra-thin trophy property market at the top. The things that clients tell me after the transaction is they wish they would have spent just a little bit more. Not because they overpaid, because they didn't, but because the gap between $2.2 million home in Montreux and the $2.8 million home in Montreux is often more dramatic than the price difference suggests. So if you're in the consideration window, we're going to tell you to look at the full range of all the properties in Montreux before drawing your final line. And one more thing on pricing, because the one thing that sells is very particular. It's turnkey, mountain ready, and fully refurnished. If that kitchen needs a complete overhaul and looks like it came from 2013, well, that one is going to sit. A home with the genuinely move-in ready with the right finishes and zero apology can go in under a week. This is the market telling you something important about what the buyer pool values. It is useful to know before you're standing in a home making a decision. But before we get into the best part, there's one thing that matters even more than the numbers. And it's what it's like to actually live here and whether this community is the right fit for you as a person. Stay with me. So let's talk about why I personally love it and the intangibles that never make it into the listing description. Okay, so this is the part of the video where I stop giving you all the data and the information and start telling you what I like about the neighborhood. I moved from California to Nevada back in 2015. I've been in and around the luxury community in this for over a decade. I have walked through a lot of communities, written a lot of offers, and sat in a lot of living rooms with people figuring out where they want to land. And Montreux is the neighborhood where once the people land, they stop looking. I have never received a client call from inside those gates asking me what else is in the area. Here's one of the first things I love, and I know this is going to sound like I'm describing a plant, but stay with me. The landscaping in Montreux is genuinely extraordinary. The pine canopy in Montreux changes the entire experience of being outside. In a state that is mostly high desert, which again is beautiful, but it's dry, open, and exposed. Montreux feels like Colorado managed to sneak through the back gate. The shade, the wind buffering, and the smells in the morning, coupled with the way the late afternoon light comes down through those trees. These are not the things that show up on a spec sheet, but they are things that show up every single day when you live there and people notice. And here's the part that surprises most people who have not been inside those gates. No two parts of Montreux look the same. The high desert terrain at the lower end of the elevation is very different than the rolling hills in the middle, which again feels completely different from the deep forest feel at the top. So you get 726 acres and 3 different living environments. The reason we find that most buyers want to go back into Montreux 3 and 4 times is not because of indecision. It's because they're genuinely trying to figure out within that community where they really want to land. The homes carry that same intentionality, old world character, mountain modern details, timber frame craftsmanship, and a lodge aesthetic. The variety is real, and the quality is consistent across all of it. There are no production homes in here with upgraded cabinets. You're going to find custom homes where every single detail mattered deeply, and you're going to feel the difference within about 30 seconds of walking in. And the second thing is, the people are genuinely interesting. I know that sounds generic, but let me be clearer. The Montreux community skews towards people who have built something. They succeeded at something, and they now have consciously decided to stop performing about it. These are executives who are done with the status treadmill. Founders who are excited and want a full life and not just a continued LinkedIn presence. Physicians who work hard and want to come home to something genuinely restorative. You'll find people who moved from California not because they had to, but because they ran the numbers and the numbers were obvious. And that creates a specific social energy. It's ambitious, but not obnoxious. It's accomplished, but not insufferable. It has the kind of neighbors who will help you find a contractor, invite you to a golf game, and not ask what you did for a living in the first 10 seconds of that conversation. And that is rarer than it sounds. The third thing that surprises people is just how alive it is within the community without being busy. The club events, the golf relationships, the school sports community, the informal networks that develop when you put in high-functioning people in a quiet, beautiful place that gives them something to do outdoor together. There's a real social fabric here that I think people underestimate when they are evaluating what square footage and finishes. What I can tell you is what I've watched happen inside this community over the last decade. People come in comparing. They leave comparing Montreux to nothing because there's nothing quite like it in this market. He plays golf on Tuesday mornings with 3 neighbors. They start out doing a 6 a.m. hike on Fridays, and the kids play on the same travel sports team as 2 other families on the street behind them. That is the aspiration that Montreux actually delivers. It's not just a house, it's a community that works. So the things that I love and the other things of not so much. All right, here's the honest version. Because there's no neighborhood on earth that is perfect for all people. And the fastest way to figure out whether Montreux is right for you or not is to give you both sides of the coin with some passion. You have guard-gated privacy, with the exception of the bear is the only one who came in uninvited. Snow here is real. An all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive is no longer optional. So that Prius had a great run. It's a Jack Nicklaus golf course, and that's the entire sentence. Upper Montreux gets more snow than lower Montreux. You have an alpine climate here that will run about 8 to 12 degrees cooler than lower Reno. Those HOA fees are definitely luxury level, so you're not moving here to save money. You'll be about 25 to 35 minutes to Lake Tahoe and about 15 to 20 minutes to the airport. Along with this will come zero traffic guilt. However, there's no walkability. The nearest coffee shop does require a car. Factor that in. One of the things I love is the understated wealth. Nobody here is performing for you. Although golf membership here will cost you $50,000 with a $975 a month fee. The dues are the point. You get mature pine canopies, and it feels like Colorado snuck into Reno. It's not Vegas luxury, it has zero flash. If you want a fountain, look elsewhere. You get Montrose ski access and now has the largest tubing in the West Coast. One caveat is the inventory so lean that if you hesitate, the house will be gone. Whole Foods, Costco, Target, and the Summit are all within about 10 minutes. Nightlife is not the move here, and that's very intentional, so you need to know that. It does have Hunsberger Elementary, which is one of the state's top-rated schools. It also has Galena High athletic culture. If you have competitive kids, you belong here. With tight inventory, stable values, low supply by design, that's not distress. Let me expand on a few more not so much items because you deserve the real context. The snow. People who come from coastal California hear about 40 to 70 inches of snow annually and picture a ski resort, which sounds exciting. What they're not picturing is a Tuesday morning in February when there's about 4 inches of fresh Sierra cement on a steep driveway in a meeting that started 10 minutes ago. The heated driveway in the listing is not a luxury feature. It is, in fact, infrastructure. If the home you're looking at has one, that number is going in the offer. For the all-wheel drive conversation, I bring this up with every California coastal client that's looking to make a relocation up here because it's the one thing that gets underestimated. Your current vehicle, no matter how wonderful or how much you love it, may not be the right fit for you if you're moving into Montreux. This conversation happens before escrow, not the morning after your first ice event, when you're standing in your driveway at 7 a.m. saying things you don't normally say. And the HOA? Well, it is what it is. You're buying into a private, guard-gated, professionally maintained luxury community. and the HOA reflects that. So if the HOA number bothers you, I would gently suggest that Montreux may not be the right fit. Not because of the number, but because the number tells you more about what the community prioritizes. And if that priority doesn't match yours, there are other great communities that will serve you better. And the inventory thing, which I called out up front, is in both of those columns simultaneously. It makes Montreux stable and value protecting for its owners. It makes it a competitive, fast-moving market for buyers. So if you're someone who needs 6 months to decide on something, I'd recommend either starting to look now or accept that your preferred home may have sold to someone who moves faster. So back to those 6 homes. 6 listings in a luxury community of this size would signal distress in almost anywhere else. But in Montreux, it signals the direct opposite. People move in, they look around at the trees, the course, and the quiet, along with the fact that their neighbor just texts them about a Friday morning hike, and they make the same decision. There is no compelling reason to leave. So 6 listings in this barking is working exactly how it's supposed to. My wife Cindy has just over 3 decades in this industry, coupled with my 2 decades. Which means between us, we've seen almost every scenario of how this can go. And we know exactly how to protect you from it going awry. We've coordinated enough of these moves to know exactly the timing and where it gets tricky, and where the assumptions get expensive, and where someone's not paying attention can cost a client something they should have never lost. So if Montreux's on your list, or you would like a direct comparison with anything else in Reno, the best way to connect with us is for a quick Zoom call. You'll get a real conversation, so just go to meetwithchris.com and grab a time that works best for you, and we will map it all out. 30 minutes usually tells you everything you need to know on whether this move makes sense for you or not. I'm Chris Rayner, your go-to realtor for all things Reno. We'll see you on the next one.